I don't want to be here. I don't know what's going on. What's gonna happen to me?
You have reached Mary Smith at the Department of Children and Families. I can't take your call right now. If this is an emergency, please call my supervisor, John Jones.
You've reached John Jones, supervisor at the Department of Children and Families. Thanks for calling. I'm not in right now.
You have reached the voicemail of Attorney Jenkins. I'm not available to come to the phone. Please leave a message.
It's just no use.
I don't even have a say in what happens to me.
It's not easy, and it can be frustrating being in DCF custody. You wonder, who cares about me, and do I have a say in my life?
You're probably thinking, yeah, it's no use, but you do have a voice, and you have to be your own advocate.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Alex.
The next few minutes on this video are gonna help you get educated. Information is power.
Not giving up is where it's at. You may think that you don't have a choice in what happens to you, but you do have a voice.
It's your choice of what you do for yourself and how you speak up for yourself.
First up, know your rights, and don't give up fighting for them.
Stand up for yourself, no matter what. That's the choice you do have, so use it.
When I first was placed in residential, it was really lonely. Feel secluded. You don't really know anyone. You're overwhelmed with new faces, new rules.
The rules at the residential house were really kind of strict.
So much is going through your head. The first thing you're probably thinking about is your family and friends. Can I even see them?
I was so attached to my mom, and I didn't eat or sleep or do anything for about a month.
In most cases, you have the right to visit your brothers, sisters, and friends. Call them on the phone and write to them. You can also visit with your parents unless your treatment plan says that the visits are not in your best interest. Also, the place where you're living has to give you paper, a pen, and postage so you can write and send your letters.
So you have a legal right to these visits. But what do you do when they aren't happening?
On my social worker's answering machine, she said that if we couldn't get in touch with her, we could call the boss, and that's how I did it.
So what do? Speak up for yourself. Call your worker first. If that doesn't work, call their supervisor. If that doesn't work, call their boss. Let them know how you feel. If you don't get what you need, talk to your lawyer. And your lawyer can even go to court to ask a judge to get what you need. And don't forget, always go to your treatment planning conference at DCF. You need to participate in that meeting.
You need to know everybody has the right to medical care. Whether you live in a star home, a residential treatment facility, a group home, or a shelter, you have the right to get medical care without waiting a long time.
I was wondering when I would be able to get glasses, and also what the medicine will do to me, how it will affect me.
That was one of my first questions, can I keep seeing a therapist? Can I stay on my medications from before?
If you need medical treatment, you have the right to see a doctor. If your old doctor's nearby, you might be able to continue seeing him. You can also see a therapist or a counselor. And if you don't think that person is helping you, speak up.
Moving from a shelter to a residential to a group home isn't easy.
I bet you feel like you were dropped off and forgotten.
It made me feel like I was alone, and that even though I know I was my own person, I felt like, nobody's helping me and I'm all alone, and nobody loved me and I was abandoned.
I felt really anxious. I wanted to leave. I wanted to leave quickly, and it wasn't happening as quickly as I would have liked it to.
If you don't like where you're living, you shouldn't have to suffer in silence. Speak up. You shouldn't have to wait and wait and wait. Talk to your social worker and your lawyer about what you want. You should also know about DCF's independent living programs.
There are life skills classes. You can take them if you're 15 or older, and then there's the transitional apartment program. In that program, you live in a staff-supervised apartment, usually with a roommate.
Then, when you graduate from high school, you might be able to live in your own apartment in DCF's CHAP program. Everybody's situation is different.
But if you're not happy where you are, talk with your DCF worker and give her a list of reasons why DCF should consider you for one of these programs. You can check out these programs in your legal rights book. And don't forget, DCF will pay for college.
A lot of kids don't know that they can use their attorney for help, and that's something they should look into.
I used my voice and I spoke up and I got what I wanted.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Speaking up for yourself and not giving up.
And here's some more info for you when you need to talk to your social worker.
A couple of times, one of my DCF workers would like try to come, but then she would never show, or she would come like a couple hours late.
Sometimes like my social workers would have like a lot of other cases.
Sometimes I have problems getting in touch with my worker because sometimes either she was not in her office or she was out dealing with another child.
If you can't find your social worker, call her boss. Use the legal rights book we gave you with all the phone numbers for DCF offices. And complain to your lawyer.
So you reach your worker. Then what? Here's what not to do.
I told you I need to visit my sister. You don't even return my calls. You don't even care.
That's not the way to do it. Try this.
You know, I called you last week because I really wanted to see my sister, and you never called me back. I know I have a right to these visits. When can I get an answer?
I'll get on it right away.
Okay.
Now that's what you need to be doing.
I called her supervisor, and he was there, and I talked to him, and we kind of got some of the stuff settled.
I took it upon myself, and I called all the people I needed to call. I wrote people.
Like we've been saying, you do have control over some things, even if it feels like everybody but you has that control.
Now you need to ask yourself an important question. Do you have a lawyer?
I knew my lawyer was a lady when I first got there, but then after a while we stopped having visits. She stopped coming, and she started procrastinating and stuff, telling me she would take me somewhere, but she never did. And then after a while, I guess she left, and I didn't know who my lawyer was.
A lot of kids in DCF don't see their lawyer, so they think they don't have a lawyer. But every kid in DCF has a lawyer.
That person's there to be your voice and advocate for what you want. That's to make sure your rights aren't violated.
Don't be afraid to ask as many questions as you want, and make sure you say what you think. Your opinion does matter. Your lawyer needs to tell the judge what you want.
If your lawyer doesn't call you back or isn't helping you, there is a place that you can call. The Commission on Child Protection. It's their job to make sure your lawyer is helping you. Call them. Their number is 860-566-1341. That number is also in the legal rights book that you got with this DVD.
Did you know you could ask your lawyer to see if you can go to court yourself and speak to the judge? You can.
When they first told me that about the court, I didn't expect they were gonna let me go into court with you guys, and it was pretty good because I got to talk to the judge and tell him, and he asked me what I wanted.
I felt nervous going to court because I was in front of the judge, and the judge has a lot of power, so I knew what I said influenced what he was gonna say about the decision making.
How about being treated fairly? What does that mean? What can you do?
Living in a group home, a shelter, or anywhere else doesn't mean anyone is allowed to hit or emotionally abuse you. No one.
And nobody has the right to treat you badly because of race, religion, or even sexual preference.
If you're not being treated fairly, then you should at least tell somebody.
If somebody hits or touches you in the wrong way or discriminates against you, call your social worker or your lawyer right away.
If you can't reach them, call the DCF hotline. The number's on the screen right here, 1-800-842-2288. It's also in the legal rights book that comes with this DVD.
You also need to know the rules should not take away any of your rights. You can go to your own church, keep your own clothes, and any money you earn. You also have the right to private phone calls, letters, and emails as long as your treatment plan doesn't say you can't.
Now you know your rights, so remember, speak up.
You can't give up. Just keep speaking up for yourself.
You can do it. You have a voice. Speak up.